So if you're betting money on these games, just listen to what we say and then do the exact opposite.
These Chinese teams are just ridiculously strong, though. I mean, sure, they lost one game, but I mean, this game just complete domination by Rising Stars.
I keep on comparing them to Rattlesnake. They really feel similar to me. I mean, they like
Darkseer Clock off lane.
It was like directly ripped.
They
ripped
dominated
off the
Lone
script,
Druid, though.
and they made it work.
Yeah, wow, that was ridiculous. So what do our analysts think about this game?
Well, you guys are a bit right. It's like the BTS curse. It just... Everyone jumped on the bandwagon, and from there it went quickly
and then the
downhill.
wheels just went careening off.
I suckered you guys in as well with my MiTH.Trust prediction, but I went down burning with you all. Yeah, it really was, to me, early to mid game was just controlled by the Darkseer. He started off in the... It wasn't really a proper dual lane with the Clockwork, because he went in the jungle, he got level 2, he killed the Lone Druid once, he had to die to do so.
He was level 3, 1.5 minutes
Okay,
in.
level 3. But after getting that kill, he went straight to the jungle, then he ganked top, and he was just moving around the map constantly. He was level 7 at 5 minutes in.
Yeah, that Darkseer is absolutely ridiculous. And you're right, it wasn't a duel lane. He was just basically jungling the enemy jungle because he didn't think he was safe in his jungle. I think he was scared that his camps would even be warded at that point. He did get really lucky on the spawns, but if you look at sort of their plan with that gank, it didn't really matter if they killed Lone Druid or not. The fact that they did kill him was really, really good, but just forcing out the TP was... It actually just won them the game. Well, one thing about that gank is that Clockwork also should have suicided a tower to deny EXP to Leshrac, which is sort of one thing that went okay for MiTH there, but having to break the tri-lane that early, like Alchemist and Visage are really, really strong dual lane in a 2v2 or a 2v1 situation. They're going to be able to beat the other heroes, and by the time Leshrac rotated up, Darkseer was just able to come and
they killed all 3 heroes.
Yeah, they just killed them all.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool. Like, I love the idea behind that. Like, going into the draft, I saw MiTH.Trust lineup, and I was like, wow, that's sort of cool against the Clockwork.
Yeah.
You have a Meg and you have a Sand King. So no matter who he hooks, sort of when Clockwork hooks in, the rest of the team has to like bunch up and follow up because he hooks pretty far away. Sand King can land a really good EP easily, Meg can land a really good RP easily. You can't hook them both. So I was like, hey, that's a sort of cool draft. But in that Darkseer, he just completely carried the game, I think. The early game.
You get such a big early game advantage, and then suddenly you've got... Well, at that point, having a Sand King Mag doesn't really work in your favor because they're not really strong early game heroes. Sand King needs a decent amount of farm to get his levels, his Arcane Boots, his Blink Dagger, so they kind of fell behind and never could really catch up. Lakel's especially on his Mirana this time around. There was no 14-minute Lincolns.
And speaking of the Mirana, or Palm...
Palm!
I really didn't like the Palm skill build. I think
was it the max arrow again?
Yeah, I really don't like that max arrow because if you look at what arrow is, it's 1 skill point for 90 damage on a 17-second CD. That's not even guaranteed.
Yeah. And
especially not against Visage because Visage is so good and he can block arrows with his birds, which happened in the bottom fight, which was actually really nice. I think it basically secured them an arc kill or prevented a death. And you need like stats or something in order to do any damage on Palm because she has what? 2.75, 2.85.
You can't even say it with a straight face.
Should I start calling Rod of Atos Raw?
Raw.
Well, you finally got to see it raw.
Oh, who got it?
Visage.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was actually.
I could. You didn't
I'm
notice?
so sorry. No, I was actually really disappointed because he was 7-1 and he didn't go straight for the Raw. Rod of Atos.
He had one at that last Roshan fight. I was getting excited. I'm like,
first with this Rising Stars Rattlesnakes thing, now with the Raw and the Palm and the
Oof.
Yeah, the Oof.
Yeah.
No, I really think if Visage had rushed that Atos, he would have been in an even better spot just because that item's so imba.
Yeah.
And like
no bias over here.
No bias. Item's completely broken. So is Visage. If he had rushed that, the supports on the MiTH.Trust side are complete food. Sand King can't even stun the Visage familiars. The stun doesn't hit them. Like Impale-based stuns do not hit familiars because they're so good. Visage is so good.
Well, unfortunately for MiTH.Trust, they are now going to drop down to the loser bracket. We can take a quick look at our bracket to see where we are now in the grand scheme of things. Rising Stars will move forward. They're awaiting the winner of Vici Gaming and Mineski, which is going to be our next upcoming match. Meant to have started 15 minutes ago. Of course, we'll take a quick break because of the delay here. But when we come back, it's going to be Vici Gaming up against Mineski. That's our next live match, guys. Stay tuned. The only Pinot hope left in the term, Mineski, are going to look to create an upset of some kind.
Look out for falling rocks! Knock you back to the Stone
I come, the venomous one.
Windrunner at your service. Time for target practice. first you don't succeed, stand closer, shoot again. Ah! Right on target.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for our second best of three of the evening. It's going to be not MiTH.Trust. It's going to be Mineski versus Vici Gaming. We just got done witnessing what looked to be a great start for MiTH.Trust. They were leading the best of three at times in terms of their overall performance. They could have taken it 2-0 Merlini. They weren't able to. They now drop down to the losers bracket. But coming up next, Vici Gaming versus Mineski. This one, I feel, looks a lot more lopsided.
Yeah, I mean, Vici Gaming was my compendium second pick, and I think these Chinese teams are very, very strong. We already saw two Chinese teams advance from Group A, and we already see the first Chinese team in Group B already 2-1, so they will advance to the second match. But Vici Gaming, very, very strong, and I think they are a strong favorite, especially in this BO3 matchup.
Of course, upsets can happen. We saw Dreams almost take down LGD in their first game in that best of three. They ended up basically throwing it. Didn't take the series. Didn't take that game one. I think we could maybe see Mineski take one game, but I feel like taking the series is going to be much tougher. So with that being said, guys, we've talked a little bit about sort of overviewing the match. Let's actually go ahead and introduce the matchup specifically. So it will be Mineski versus Vici Gaming. You have your last Filipino hope, who's in the upper bracket of a group anyway. Dreams, they got knocked out in Group A, so they're done. Mineski, they must carry the Pinoy honor and their banner. They're on the right side. On the left, of course, we have Vici Gaming, who basically, they look like a boy band, man. They are suave, they're well-dressed, and they have a very good photographer. And we'll go ahead and introduce Vici Gaming. ZSMJ, the carry player. For me, he's sort of the question mark for this team. Obviously, a legend in his time, one of the best farmers ever to grace the world of Dota, even long before Dota 2 ever came out. But can he perform in Dota 2? So far, if anything, he's probably been the weak spot for this team, but obviously known for his Medusa play. We'll introduce him again, then we'll move right along. So next up, the sensational solo mid. CTY, some call him the Arteezy of the East, some call Arteezy the CTY of the West. But either way, we know one thing for sure. This guy knows how to dominate solo mid. And you see a lot of his snowball heroes there. Of course, we have XTT, the off-lane player, the 3 position. Known, I think, particularly for that Darkseer. Of course, does play some other off-laners. We haven't really seen the Bounty Hunter from them much, but this Vici Gaming team, they're not afraid to get aggressive and go for a lot of early kills, dive towers, and try to snowball their whole team. So, moving right along, we have FY, the support player. it's really all Rubik. This could be 3 Rubiks. He is so well known for this player as of late. He's really exploded onto the scene. We threw a Shadow Demon in there because, well, we had to, but his Rubik play has been very impressive. He's been, and I say this in a Chinese scene where you already have Chuan, you already have so many other very dominant Rubik players, and of course Dai as well for Team DK. Last but not least, Fenrir, the other support player, not quite as flashy, but a very stable presence. That pretty much ramps up Vici Gaming. Merlini, we get a Hexagon.
Ooh, they did look like a boy band. I saw that picture with the glasses, and he was like holding them.
They have they're a pretty photogenic bunch.
Are you sure they play Dota?
Only in their free time, and they're a young bunch too. They're a bit inexperienced, not as inexperienced as some of these other teams, but CTY was a pub star until very recently, has just started playing competitively only over the past 6 months or so. I would actually say, I mean, the team fighting execution, this is where I agree. They've shown some dominant performances. They absolutely rolled over LGD in the Dota 2 Super League. But other matches, they've come out flat. They haven't looked sharp. We'll have to see which Vici Gaming shows up. I feel there's something of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of team. Over on the other side, we've got Mineski. This team added Joven to their roster recently, but we'll start with their carry player. His name is Yanni. They are generally a very aggressive bunch. They don't, occasionally we'll see things like the anti-mage, but normally it's more of these sort of semi-carries, these heroes that can put the pressure and the hurt on early. Drow Ranger is a pretty popular carry as well in the Filipino scene. Kawa, moving right along to our second player, we have Joven. I mentioned him. For me, he's been the most impressive player since joining the team. He's a well-known solo player from the Philippines, has come on over to Mineski to lend his talents to the squad. Along with Bimbo, he's one of their 2 pillars, and again, 2 of the most popular and beloved players in the scene there today. Up next, of course, you have Jay, or Bimbo, as he's better known, and it's pretty much all of these heroes. He's also known for his Tiny. His Tiny, back when he used to play it a lot in Dota 1, it was always kind of your utility Tiny. Things like Yule Scepter, Force Staff, Blink Dagger. He pretty much avoided DPS like the Plague, and Oa, of course, the support player. You see the Sand King here. You could even maybe throw an Earthshaker in as well, but pretty stable, solid support, not particularly flashy. Mineski normally likes to aggressive tri-lane. We'll see if they go for that here today. And last but not least, we're going to round things out with Fat Dog, or as he's better known, Geo. He's decided to change his name to Fat Dog because, as you can see, his dog is fat, but I'm not convinced by the name. With that being said, more Hexagons, and Mineski not looking like the strongest team in the qualifier. I feel they're really going to have their work cut out for him here, and this Hexagon certainly reflects that.
Got to bring pride to Pinoy Dota.
Pinoy Pride, guys. Pinoy Pride. Busian Mineski. You'll need it. Well, we've finished introducing the teams. We've gone over the Hexagons. Of course, I'm LD, you're Merlini. Casters, what do you guys think about this matchup? Anything you're going to be looking for particularly? Of course, we have Purge as well as AUI who are going to be casting this one.
Hey you guys, how you doing? I'm pretty excited to watch the matchup personally. I want to see if Mineski can do a lot better than Dreams did the other day. Dreams, for example, showed a really great game versus LGD, but things really fell apart after that. So people have been rating Mineski higher than Dreams, so I'd like to see if they can actually do a better job. And Vici Gaming, obviously, not as good as LGD China.
Yeah, I don't know if you can even say that VG's Gaming is not as good as LGD China. They did 2-0 them in their last encounter, and it's a very convincing win. They have a lot of potential. Something with CTY, he won, I believe, 2009's 1v1 tournament. So I'm sort of really excited to see him come into this big international tournament. When I watch, and ZSMJ is just, he's a legend, right?
Yeah, super
I
good.
think a lot of the people who follow the Dota scene, they've seen him lose his rapier, buy back, grab another rapier, and win the game on Medusa.
Yeah, those were some great times, that's for sure. So I think we should be getting into the game pretty soon here, but are you expecting any kind of weird picks out of any of these teams?
To be perfectly honest, I haven't done my research properly for these teams. I haven't watched them that much, so I can't really say anything special.
Yeah.
We've seen for Vici Gaming, ZSMJ has actually played a Storm Spirit. I mean, he's most well known for his hard carry plays. So, yeah, Medusa, the Drow Ranger occasionally in the past, and then of course things like Anti-Mage. But he's actually been playing some aggressive heroes for Vici Gaming. We've seen CTY take Clockwork mid a lot. I'm sure AUI will enjoy that. The Storm Spirit an option as well. So this is a team where they can play kind of that more passive 4 Protect 1, but most of the time, more often than not, it's a team that likes to take the fight to you pretty aggressively at the towers and try and really control the flow of the game. So I think we could see something, I mentioned the Storm, something a little bit more aggressive for ZSMJ.
Predictions?
Tough to say. Well, whatever I say, again, it's going to be the opposite. But with that being said, Vici Gaming 2-0. I want Mineski to win. I don't think they have a shot.
That bad? Are you going to eat a hat?
No hats.
You said you were
That
going
was-
to get a hat if Dreams lost a game. Even
I feel-
no, you said BO3.
I actually feel Mineski is a more stable team than Dreams. They're smarter with their item choices. That's something Gods has talked about a lot, and I don't see them. I see them playing a little bit more consistently, but I don't think that's going to be enough to take down Vici game.
I think they were more experienced too. Most of the players from Dreams is very, very young. I don't think any of them were 20. I think most of them are 16 through 19, and I think that this Pino team will have a little bit of a better shot.
Yeah, well, guys, what do you think? Casters, your predictions?
I think I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say 2-1 Vici Gaming. I think Mineski has a pretty good chance of taking at least one game off, but maybe not a pretty good chance, but I think I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
I would have to go with VG 2-0. I think that thinking back, I think the first Clockwork vs. Meg game that I saw was actually C2Y taking a dump on. I think he took a dump on someone. It was really bad. Someone's Meg.
He solo killed his Magnus.
Yeah, he killed a level 2. Okay. I've always heard
Wow.
that Clockwork solo kills at level 3, but that's even more impressive. And I don't know, winning like a 1v1 tournament is just so ridiculously huge. Like players say that 1v1 doesn't really matter that much, but just being able to win a lane in an equal matchup is really important in Dota, actually.
And I mean, for Vici Gaming, before CTY started playing that mid role, he was actually playing carry. And SYDM would often go mid. He would rarely win his lane convincingly. Since CTY's been there, I don't think I've actually seen him lose his lane. Even when they lose a game, he either breaks even or he dominates and snowballs. So for me, he's probably the key to this team.
Well, it'll be exciting to watch, that's for sure. It looks like we have a little bit more time before the match gets going.
Yeah, we should be getting underway pretty soon, guys. So we're gonna take a quick break here, and then when we come back, we'll be ready for Game 1. Purge and AUI will be casting it. So stay tuned. It's a best of 3. Vici Gaming versus Mineski going to come up in just a few moments.
I'm David Parker.
And I'm David Gorman.
Together, we are Over the Top. Over the Top is a grassroots esports organization.
We run and broadcast some of the best Dota 2 events in the world.
But we started as community casters a year ago.
When the International 2 came last August, it changed everything.
Thousands of fans were roaring tens to have that event.
Now, we want to make our event coverage just as good.
Unfortunately, we're a few $1 million short.
Still, we're determined to create a better product for you.
Our goal? To create awesome Dota 2 content for you guys full-time as a fully sustainable business.
That's why we're doing this Indiegogo. With your help, we're going to create the Over the Top Studio.
When it comes to LD and Gods, I can't stress enough how unfortunate it is that they chose this profession. It's hard to imagine why anyone would let them near a microphone, let alone a studio. It would be a huge mistake to give them money.
Over the Top probably means something different to each and every person out there, but for myself, it's the best way to watch Dota 2 while I'm trying to figure out the identity of my secret brother.
Over the Top means knock knock. Who's there?
Over the Top to me means synergy between professional casting and a good dose of humor.
Welcome to Piri and Flax's guide to funding the Over the Top Studio. The Over the Top Studio is doing a lot of good stuff, so you should really pay money to them, or go fuck yourself.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back to your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he doesn't look like he's me, but he can watch Dota like he's me. At Over the Top.
Over the Top is like watching a time machine to see what Beyond the Summit will do in 3 weeks.
Over the Top, I-san-su-ru. Over the Top.
Okay, so the guy who gave me my Dota 2 basically asked me to do this. So you're supposed to give money to them for whatever it is they're doing. Whatever it is they're doing.
The dragon comes for war. The world shall end in fire.
Hey guys, we're back for game 1 of Vici Gaming versus Mineski. We are about to hop into the draft, and I am pretty excited to get started. We already have some bans going. Mineski's going to start off with a Lone Druid ban, and Vici Gaming going with a Lifestealer.
Yep, and that's pretty standard bans. I like that team MiNESKI has banned out the Lone Druid. Sorry, I just have to do that because that was for IceRock's benefit. Apparently, he hated Merlini saying MiTH.Trust so much that he messaged him on Skype.
Wow, I really don't blame him. It was grinding my gears as well. And it's now time for Team Vici Gaming to take their second ban, and they're going to go for Magnus here. So pretty standard tier 1 bans. A little
and there's
surprising
a
to
Batrider.
see. Yeah, Batrider's in the pool.
So I expect a Batrider pick up right away, and then Team Vici Gaming will pick up a Shadow Demon right away to go against that. I expect them to also pick up... I like Clockwork for them a lot here.
You could just, I mean, do you want to solo cast this? You apparently know everything that's going to be happening here. It's pretty uncanny. Gyrocopter is going to be their carry, though. So.
Oh, I like that too, actually. That's pretty smart. VG, I think they're the team that's probably adapted one of the best in terms of their picks. I really think that Gyro and Wisp are in general very undervalued by Chinese, but obviously this is a first 2 pickup of Gyro, and he's actually quite good against Batrider just because the Batrider can't really jump the Gyro because there's always going to be a Shadow Demon disruption on him, and when you jump